Today I'm going to be listening to Homage to Frederico García Lorca by Sylvester Revueltas. This is an orchestra piece from 1936. Sylvester Revueltas, we've covered his music before in two previous episodes. He's a Mexican composer born in 1899, and he died in the 1940s, I believe, quite young, as stated in this little bio here. The largest portion of his work was produced during the last 10 years of his life. And this is one of those pieces. Homenaje Frederico García Lorca was first performed on November 14th, 1936 in the Fine Arts Palace in Mexico City, conducted by Revueltas. Before it received this title, it was called Three Pieces for 10 Instruments. And this event surrounding its premiere was organized by the League of Revolutionary Writers and Artists, the Spanish Popular Front, and the Communist Youth of Mexico. It was performed again on December 5th at Guadalajara Degollado Theater at the Congress of National Writers and Artists, and Revueltas attended the Congress as a delegate of LEAR, and it's entirely possible that the work was composed specifically for these events. So this is just based on this, we're talking about Mexican nationalist music, some other composers that you might associate with this movement, and Revueltas, Carlos Chavez, Jose Pablo Moncayo. I've covered both of those composers in other episodes of our orchestra series specifically. So the instrumentation for this thing is 1100 0221 piano, xylophone, and 22001, it looks like. So it's actually more of a chamber orchestra piece, and I should have put it in my chamber orchestra series, but it's too late now. I'm going to give this a listen. It starts with this interesting piano chord and a solo trumpet, muted trumpet note on an F sharp. I forgot to mention that Frederico García Lorca is a Spanish poet who died in August of 1936. So Revueltas composed this like a couple months later, and then eventually decided to dedicate it to him. García Lorca suffered from depression, and was openly gay, and I guess he had some sort of relationship with Salvador Dali. He was assassinated by nationalist forces at the beginning of the Spanish Civil War. And he was also, in addition to being targeted for being gay, he was also targeted for being a socialist. You can kind of see why this kind of figure would be worth dedicating your piece to, especially if you are like appreciative of what he did for Spanish literature, but also if you are politically sympathetic to his tragic death, which I think Revueltas might have been. Yeah, maybe I could say something on what do these titles mean? So I think this is I guess you would pronounce it bile, is like a type of dance. There's an asterisk by it, but nothing, no note about what it means. Interestingly, the second movement is called like a duel with García Lorca, or like a fight with García Lorca. And it's dedicated to Raúl Martínez Hostos. The first movement is dedicated to Luis Cordova. The last movement is for LEAR. It's dedicated to Jose Manquisador. And it's titled Sun. So I have a feeling that these dedicatees for each movement are members of Lear. So I'm just Googling like the League of Revolutionary Artists and Writers and then their names. So first movement, Louis Cordova, poet who lived from 1908 to 1999, also a playwright. And he was, in addition to Lear, he was a member of AEM and the Community of Latin American Writers, and a militant of various revolutionary organizations and the Mexican Movement for Peace. So Raul Martinez Ostos was the Secretary of Organization for a committee within Lear that Revueltas was president of. But I don't know if I can get deep enough into this to properly say the relationship. But yeah, he's definitely a member of this organization who Revueltas knew. Then Jose Mancisador, this guy, lived from 1894 to 1956. Defended Veracruz against the U.S. invasion of 1914, joined the Constitutionalist Army, became a lieutenant colonel, and fought against the rebellion of Adolfo de la Huerta. He directed Lear. So yeah, he's the big name out of the three dedicatees. And he also directed the Society of Friends of the USSR and the Mexican-Russian Cultural Institute. He was a writer of essays, novels, short stories, and chronicles. He's also the author of History of the Mexican Revolution, published in 1957. Alright, so yeah, I really liked these. They kind of flew by, and they're really catchy, but also very colorful, and there's like something kind of sinister and quirky about them, and the harmonic language. The orchestration, like, choices kind of reminded me a little bit of L'Histoire de Soldat by Igor Stravinsky. It could have also been just like the melodies themselves, but there's a lot of like extreme high register and extreme low register, like very high piccolo, but also a lot of tuba. Interesting use of piano throughout the piece. The second movement is like very different from the other two. I think it's very powerfully distinct in its the way it's orchestrated and its sort of sound world. There were some discrepancies between this score and the one that I have. There might be two different versions of the piece or something, but I think the B section in the second movement was longer in this version. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what I missed, but this is, I'm assuming, the October 12th, 1936 version. He may have expanded some sections before it was premiered in December or something. Before it was performed in December, I should say. It was premiered in November. Definitely kept my attention more than Senza Maya, which was the last piece we looked at by him, which was more of a tone poem. I think he excels a lot more at these little, like, folksy miniatures. But regardless, a very distinct sound world, and I think it's kind of cool.